Our story begins during a dark time for the Israelites, who were oppressed by the Philistines for 40 years. In the town of Zorah lived a man named Manoah from the tribe of Dan. Manoah's wife was barren and had no children. One day, the angel of the Lord appeared to her and said, "You are barren and childless, but you will conceive and give birth to a son. Ensure that you drink no wine or other fermented drink and eat nothing unclean. You will bear a son whose head must never be touched by a razor, for he will be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from the womb. He will lead the effort to deliver Israel from the Philistines." Overjoyed, the woman rushed to tell her husband about the angel's message. Manoah prayed to the Lord, asking for the angel to return and instruct them on how to raise the boy. God answered Manoah's prayer, and the angel reappeared. Manoah asked, "When your words come to pass, what rules should govern the boy's life and work?" The angel repeated the instructions. Manoah's wife must follow all that was commanded. Soon after, Manoah's wife gave birth to a son, and they named him Samson. As Samson grew, the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir in him while he was in Mahanadan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. As a young man, Samson visited Timnah, where he saw a Philistine woman. He returned home and told his parents, "I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Get her for me as my wife." His parents were dismayed, asking, "Is there no suitable woman among your relatives or our people? Must you marry an uncircumcised Philistine?" But Samson insisted, "Get her for me. She's the one I want." Unbeknownst to his parents, this was part of the Lord's plan to confront the Philistines. On his way to Timnah, Samson encountered a young lion. The forest was dense and the path narrow when a fierce roar pierced the air. The lion charged, but the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon Samson. With divine strength, he tore the lion apart with his bare hands, as easily as one might tear a young goat. He did not tell his parents what he had done. Later, when he returned to marry the woman, he passed by the lion's carcass and found a swarm of bees and honey inside. He scooped out the honey, ate some, and shared it with his parents without revealing its source. At the wedding feast in Timnah, Samson proposed a riddle to his 30 Philistine companions. "If you can solve my riddle within the 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. If you cannot, you must give me the same." They agreed, and he said, "Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet." For 3 days, they could not solve it. On the 4th day, they threatened Samson's wife, saying, "Coax your husband into explaining the riddle, or we will burn you and your father's household." Distraught, she wept and pleaded with Samson, "You hate me. You don't love me. You've given my people a riddle, but haven't told me the answer." He replied, "I haven't even told my parents, so why should I tell you?" She cried. Throughout the feast and on the 7th day, worn down by her persistence, Samson told her the answer. She relayed it to her people. Before sunset on the 7th day, the men of the town said to Samson, "What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion?" Samson replied, "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle." Enraged, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. He went to Ashkelon, struck down 30 men, took their clothes, and gave them to those who had solved the riddle. Burning with anger, he returned to his father's home. His wife was given to one of his companions from the feast. Later, during the wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat and went to visit his wife, saying, "I'm going to my wife's room." Her father blocked his way, saying, "I was certain you hated her, so I gave her to your companion." Isn't her younger sister more attractive? Take her instead." Samson replied, "This time I have the right to take revenge on the Philistines." He caught 300 foxes, tied them tail to tail in pairs, and fastened a lit torch to each pair. Releasing them into the Philistines' fields, he set their crops, vineyards, and olive groves ablaze. When the Philistines learned Samson was responsible because his wife was given away, they burned her and her father's household. Samson vowed, "Since you've done this, I won't stop until I get my revenge." He attacked them fiercely, slaughtering many, then hid in a cave at the rock of Atam. The Philistines camped in Judah near Lehi. The people of Judah asked, "Why have you come to fight us?" They replied, "We've come to take Samson prisoner for what he did to us." 3,000 men from Judah went to the cave and said to Samson, "Don't you realize the Philistines rule over us? What have you done?" He answered, "I only did to them what they did to me." They said, "We've come to tie you up and hand you over." Samson agreed, "Swear you won't kill me yourselves." They promised to only bind him and deliver him. They tied him with 2 new ropes and led him from the cave. As he approached Lehi, the Philistines shouted in triumph. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and the ropes burned away like flax. Finding a fresh donkey's jawbone, he struck down 1,000 men. Standing victorious amid the fallen, he declared, "With a donkey's jawbone, I have made donkeys of them. With a donkey's jawbone, I have killed 1,000 men." He threw the jawbone away, and the place was called Ramath Lehi. Thirsty and exhausted, Samson cried out, "You have given your servant this great victory. Must I now die of thirst and fall to the uncircumcised?" God split open a hollow place in Lehi, and water flowed out. Samson drank, his strength returned, and the spring was named En-Hakkore, still there in Lehi today. One day, Samson went to Gaza and spent the night with a woman. The people of Gaza, learning he was there, surrounded the place and waited at the city gate, planning to kill him at dawn. But Samson arose at midnight, seized the city gate and its posts, tore them loose, and carried them to the hill facing Hebron, a staggering display of strength. Later, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah in the valley of Sorek. The Philistine rulers offered her 100 shekels of silver each to discover the secret of his strength. Delilah asked Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be subdued." He replied, "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings, not yet dried, I'll become as weak as any man." The Philistines brought her the bowstrings, and she tied him while men hid nearby. She cried, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He snapped the bowstrings like thread near a flame. Delilah said, "You lied to me. Tell me how you can be tied." He answered, "If you weave the 7 braids of my hair into the fabric on a loom and tighten it with a pin, I'll be weak." While he slept, she wove his hair and secured it. Again she called, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He awoke and pulled out the pin, loom, and fabric. Delilah pressed, "How can you say you love me when you won't confide in me? This is the 3rd time you've made a fool of me." She nagged him daily until he was weary. Finally, he revealed, "No razor has touched my hair, for I am a Nazirite dedicated to God from my mother's womb. If my head is shaved, my strength will leave me." Seeing he had told the truth, Delilah sent for the Philistine rulers. They returned with silver, and while Samson slept on her lap, she had his hair shaved. She called, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." He awoke, thinking he could break free, but the Lord had left him. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and bound him with bronze shackles. forcing him to grind grain in a Gaza prison, but his hair began to grow back. The Philistine rulers gathered to offer a sacrifice to their god Dagon, celebrating, "Our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands." The people praised Dagon for giving them the one who devastated their land. In high spirits they demanded, "Bring out Samson to entertain us." They stood him among the temple pillars. Samson asked the servant guiding him, "Place me where I can feel the pillars supporting the temple." The temple was packed with men and women, including all the Philistine rulers, and about 3,000 people watched from the roof. Samson prayed, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me once more to take revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Bracing himself against the 2 central pillars, one in each hand, he said, "Let me die with the Philistines." He pushed with all his might, and the temple collapsed, killing the rulers and all inside. The ground shook, walls crumbled, and Philistine cries filled the air. Samson killed more in his death than in his life. His brothers and father's family retrieved his body and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in Manoah's tomb. He had led Israel for 20 years. Samson's life reminds us that God can use flawed individuals to fulfill his purposes. His extraordinary strength was matched by human weaknesses, yet he accomplished his divine mission. Through his story, we learn the importance of faith, the dangers of temptation, and the sovereignty of God's will. Do you want your children and families worldwide to learn the Bible through animated films? Here's your chance to help. Our vision is to create full-length Bible movies that tell the stories leading to Jesus, something mainstream media like Disney would never do. Our content is free on YouTube, but ad revenue alone cannot sustain this mission. By joining our Patreon community, we can produce these films and share Bible stories with the next generation. In return, we offer exclusive perks for your family. Thank you for supporting this mission. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, like, comment, and share with friends and family. Thank you for watching.